Hi.
Hi, Eric.
I'm sitting with John Antonetti. John and I worked together for about 6 years. We did the Learn to Walk, the Learning Walk training today with a group of teachers from all 6 schools. And I guess, John, I was just, if you could condense the purpose of Learning Walk would be great. Just, I'm going to put this on the blog and maybe so other teachers can hear,
Sure.
again, just pretty simply.
I think in its simplest form, learning process is about empowering teachers. It's empowering teachers to work collectively to look at instruction. Before I go much further, I know that one of the things that people will often say is because we're going to be going into each other's classrooms, it's going to be evaluation. Rather than looking at an individual teacher, though, we look at trend data across 4th grade, across mathematics in the building. So we find these natural groupings of kids that we collectively own and are responsible for. And then we decide how we're going to collect data, whether we're going to collect data anecdotally about what we see in classrooms with examples and maybe even student work, or are we going to collect the data in some sort of numerical value, some quantitative value? How often do we see certain behaviors in our kids? The thing that is most unusual for the classroom teacher when this is happening in his or her classroom is that the person who's doing the Look to Learning visit is going to stop and talk to kids. It is somewhat disruptive to the classroom, I get that completely, but for the learner, it's a metacognitive moment about connecting back to objective, to explaining context and where we've been, and really seeing if the activities for the learner are making sense in terms of objective and concept. So I think the disruption is well worth, or the interruption is well worth what the interviewee, the kid, gets. The second piece of that then is what are we going to do with the data? The empowerment piece there is that teachers get a chance to sit down and look at the data, whether it's that anecdotal data or that quantitative data, and make decisions as a group about, so where do we want to go for our kids? Is it X, Y, or Z? I think this is a way to protect teachers and protect schools from initiative fatigue and focus on the things that are most meaningful to the learners. The last part then of the empowerment is after we pick a focus area, we might not fully look for everything on the Look to Learning form.
Right.
I really appreciate the way you guys have already self-selected what I would call the big 4: objective, thinking level, classroom engagement, and as a precursor to classroom engagement, what are the qualities in the work that are bringing about engagement?
I think it's really important in as complex an organization as we have for us to develop what I call a shared vision of quality instruction. And I think those narrowing down those look-fors
Yes.
help us create that common language. I'm also reminded that the privilege of my job is I get to see instruction in many different schools and many different classrooms, and it's we have phenomenal teachers, phenomenal instruction taking place. What I also like about the Look to Learn is you're reminded of how isolating teaching can be, and have you seen the impact? I mean, we all hear about collaboration. Have you seen the impact of just getting teachers seeing other teachers practice?
Yeah. Eric, even in schools where we don't do anything with the data, whether it's that anecdotal data or the quantitative, even if we just get teachers to break out of their own classrooms and have a chance to spend a couple of moments talking to kids in other classrooms, I think any teacher, because I know it happened to me, any teacher would walk away saying, wow, I can't believe Michael's really that engaged in that class, because I don't get that from in my science classroom. So I got to look at what's going on in English class and think, okay, what could I do that's similar to that's going to pull Michael in? So I think the embedded staff development is really phenomenal. I think that just automatically makes the process, for want of a word, fun.
And again, just on behalf of Burlington teachers, I want to thank you for coming out. I know you're coming back on November 15th, and maybe we'll do another little anecdotal clip on the 15th. And looking forward to a longer term. You were here last year, and hopefully you've seen some growth, and we'll continue to partner moving forward. So again, I appreciate you coming out.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to getting to the classrooms.
All right.
Thanks, sir.